5 people climbed into a submersible no bigger than a minivan. Their destination was nearly 4,000 meters below the Atlantic Ocean. The wreck of the Titanic. Less than 2 hours later, they disappeared. For 4 days, the world watched as ships, aircraft, and underwater robots searched one of the most remote places on Earth. Millions hoped for a miracle. But as investigators looked beyond the final dive, a different story emerged, one that did not begin in June of 2023. It had started years earlier. To understand what happened, you first have to understand the man behind the mission. His name was Stockton Rush. Rush believed the ocean, not space, was humanity's last great frontier. In 2009, he founded OceanGate with a bold idea. Deep-sea exploration should not belong only to governments, the military, and research institutions. Private citizens should be able to see places that had always been out of reach, especially the Titanic. It was an extraordinary vision, but to make it possible, Rush believed the industry had to change. Traditional deep-sea submersibles were expensive, slow to build, and heavily shaped by decades of caution. Rush believed innovation required challenging old assumptions. To him, caution was not always wisdom. Sometimes, it was the enemy of progress. That philosophy shaped Titan. The submersible was not built like most vehicles designed for extreme depth. It used a carbon fiber pressure hull with titanium end caps, an unconventional design for repeated dives to the Titanic. Some saw a breakthrough. Others saw unnecessary risk. OceanGate also chose not to pursue independent certification for Titan in the way many experts expected for a deep-diving submersible. Rush believed outside certification could slow innovation. He trusted his engineers, he trusted the data, and he trusted the technology his company had created. At first, that confidence seemed justified. Titan completed dives. Passengers reached the Titanic. The impossible suddenly seemed possible. And that may have been the most dangerous part. Every successful dive made the next one feel safer. Not because the risks had disappeared, but because confidence had grown. Outside OceanGate, concerns continued to build. Experts questioned whether Titan had been tested enough for repeated journeys to extreme depths. Others questioned the decision to operate without independent certification. A former employee raised safety concerns during development, arguing that more testing was needed before carrying passengers so deep below the ocean. The disagreement ended with his departure from the company. Rush listened, but he remained convinced that OceanGate understood its technology better than anyone outside the company, and each successful mission made that belief harder to challenge. Success has a way of making risky decisions feel like the right ones. Then came June 18th, 2023. Titan began another descent toward the Titanic. On board were Stockton Rush and 4 passengers. Each had accepted the risks. Each believed they were about to witness one of history's most famous shipwrecks with their own eyes. For about 1 hour and 45 minutes, the dive appeared routine. Then communication stopped. At first, nobody knew why. Had Titan lost power? Had it become trapped? Was the crew still alive, waiting silently in the darkness? For days, the search became a global story. Aircraft scanned the Atlantic. Ships crossed thousands of square miles of open ocean. Underwater vehicles searched nearly 4,000 meters below the surface. Then came the answer. Titan had suffered a catastrophic implosion. The pressure of the deep ocean had destroyed the submersible instantly. There had been no opportunity for escape. In the months that followed, investigators examined years of engineering decisions, testing, maintenance, oversight, and company practices. Their findings painted a larger picture than a single mechanical failure. The tragedy was described as preventable, not because one bolt failed, not because of one unlucky moment, but because a pattern of decisions had gradually reduced the margin for error. Looking back, the outcome may seem inevitable, but history rarely feels inevitable while it is happening. Every successful dive convinced OceanGate it was moving in the right direction. Every warning convinced others it was not. Reality would eventually deliver the final answer. Stockton Rush wanted to transform deep-sea exploration. In many ways, he did. But innovation demands more than vision. It demands humility. It demands scrutiny. And it demands the willingness to stop when the evidence says the risk is too high. Titan was not destroyed by one decision made on one morning. Its fate was shaped over years. One assumption, one compromise, one warning dismissed, one successful dive at a time. And that's how one bad decision changed everything.